but I basically burned the beans. I roasted it to the French roast level, which is not what I wanted. I just assumed it worked the same timing for each bean, but each bean is different. But at the same time, I couldn't hear the cracks as well, right?
Yes, the noise, the rotator arm somehow is louder than a hot air popper. I'm quite sure how that happens.
Right.
Yeah, it is loud.
So, and then there's also a glass dome over it, right? So when I could hear that first crack and second crack on the popper, I couldn't quite catch that on this.
So the question at bay, is this the best home coffee roasting machine? Ehren, your thoughts?
Well, I had a lot to chew on. I had an interesting opportunity. All right. My wife and my daughter wanted to take part in a fundraiser to help kids go to camp at a local camp. And my wife, who had complained about all the smells of me roasting coffee with the hot air popper that I've been using, I want to say, hey, Ehren, because like I said, she's always enjoyed the product, just the process bothered her, right? And so she said, hey, Ehren, maybe we can raise funds by you roasting coffee. And so she had this huge plan. And my wife is the eternal optimist, and she's thinking of millions of dollars that we can raise in money. But I said, me roasting a half cup of beans at a time, I said, I just don't have the capacity to do that. And we determined how much we needed. And I've talked to you often about your roaster that can roast in higher capacities than my air popper. And I said, let's give it a go. So I gave you a call, and you being the guy you are said, sure, go ahead and let me borrow it. So it was just an interesting experience.
So on your air popper, you roast how much?
Like I said, about a half cup at a time. I'd say 5 to 6 minutes to roast it. Then there's cooling periods, right? And then, so, I'd spend about a good 45 minutes and get me maybe a pound of done beans. Right? So it was a labor of love, right? And I love doing it. However, I would save me drinking that coffee for weekends where I could really savor it.
Right.
Because, it took some time, right?
That's 45 minutes of very active.
I'm on it. I'm watching, I'm listening, you hear the crack. Oh, first crack, there it goes, right? And then second crack, there goes the second crack. Okay, then turn it off, right? And so I'm on it the entire 5-6 minutes that the thing is going. So I can't really go do other things during that. So this was an opportunity. We've talked about me trying to see how you do things a little bit. And so I used your popper. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the popper that I borrowed, and tell us a little bit about how things work and what you like about it, since this is kind of your main MO on how you roast your coffee. And then I can tell you my experience of what I thought compared to the popper. But the goal is trying to figure out what is the best machine to use for roasting our coffee.
Your best home coffee roaster.
My best home coffee roaster, and all the things that go into us making that decision. So far, I've always enjoyed the air popper. You're liking this thing. So tell us about it a little bit.
So first of all, point a gun in my head, I can't tell you the brand name. Okay.
All right.
So this is really important. The hot air popper roasting's fun, but it's 5-6 minutes at a time. You half a cup or quarter cup? How much do you do?
Half cup.
Half a cup. It's just a lot of work. And I just wanted to make more. I think I've shared on this, my dear friend, Joel. Hey, Joel. Joel trades a pound of coffee every week for 18 farm fresh eggs. And we have a lot of fun. So I just need to do more of a half cup at a time. So I picked up a coffee roaster in the $100 range from Amazon. It's the same type of thing you use to roast nuts or that kind of thing.
You can roast your nuts in this?
You can roast your nuts in this.
So could I roast my nuts in there too?
Absolutely roast your nuts.
Can we roast our nuts together in there?
We actually could.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
And we'll leave that for the kid.
And the junior high in all of us, isn't it?
I bought it. It's about $100. I bought the extended warranty.
Did this come with a warranty?
I'm sure it did. But of course, warranties in Amazon and that kind of world is always a fascinating
So you just found it in Amazon, found yourself a nut roaster.
coffee.
Also did coffee. Okay.
Yes. And its official name, household coffee roaster machine, electric coffee beans roaster for cafe, shop, home use, 500 gram, 1.1 LB, upgrade 110B, 220B.
Oh, so just type that in. Just type that in. Okay.
And then the idea is you can throw a pound in there. Now,
A pound?
A pound.
Okay.
Now, one of the nice things about a pound at a time is our dear friends over at Sweet Maria's. Many times that's how I get this. So
You just dump the whole bag in there.
Dump the whole bag, no measuring, no another bowl, that kind of. I got their box of chocolates thing for Christmas. Did you see that at all?
No, I didn't.
That they called the box of chocolates. It was 6 1-pound bags of their most chocolatey coffee.
Right. Yes.
So
I do remember.
And I had all these inspirations to do all my coffee tracking and tasting, scorping, all that stuff. And I just today, getting ready for next week, I just threw all the bags in there, just empty out the bag, done.
So have you done any slurping yet?
No, we're slurping. We're saving slurping for you, our listeners. And
Yes. I cannot wait to slurp.
Maybe we'll wait till season. Maybe we'll do that one.
Well, yeah, you can't bring that one on too fast. So you got to take your time with that.
So it does a pound at a time.
Okay.
I have found in my life that when I follow directions, I actually do quite well.
Mhm.
It's when I start to get too creative for myself that I don't.
Right.
So with the thing came, directions of really bad English that said, do your first 10 minutes at 140, do your next 10 minutes at 180, and then do the rest at 240.
So this device looks really easy. It's got like a switch and a knob.
Yeah.
Right. You got on, off, and then it's got a switch of temperature reading, right?
Exactly.
So no timer on it. So you'd have to have your own timer still, but
it actually came with time.
It did.
Box, yeah.
Oh, so it looked like it starts at 100, goes all the way to 240, right? Okay. All right. So you start off doing what?
10 minutes lower, 10 minutes a little bit lower. And it would definitely steam during that time. And a lot of the water would come out of the green bean and that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And it would go longer.
Mhm.
Could I just burst up to the top and go instantly on low and get a fine cup of coffee? Yes, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
But as a result, my coffee, the Zinabajul producers from Guatemala, which tends to be my favorite bean right now from our friends at Sweet Maria's, it takes me 10 minutes at the 140, 10 minutes the 180, and it takes about 24 minutes on the 240 to get to where I want to go. So that's longer.
So you got that dialed in.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I tracked it.
Okay.
And that kind of thing. That's what I found.
So just so you guys know, this looks like kind of like a little crock pot.
Right.
Quite honestly, it's a little crock pot, and inside it's got like a helicopter propeller, and that's what stirs the beans while it's roasting and all that, so that no bean gets too cooked. Right. It's kind of just flipping them over and moving them around.
Kind of. It's not as the evenness of my roast is not always the same as the evenness of a roast that you like in the hot pot.
Okay.
It's definitely a quantity over quality type of situation. Now, I will every once in a while shake things up, move it around, that kind of thing, where things, how important that is, I don't know. But so, pound of Zinabajul.
Put a pound in there, put on the cover, right?
Right.
Then 10 minutes, 10 minutes, then 24, 26 minutes. And then to turn that sucker off and pour out the beans. And you got a pound of coffee. So like, how closely do you need to watch? Were you watching it?
No, and that's the point. So a lot of times when I make coffee, I'll put it in for 10 minutes. I'll set my watch, timer, dishes, and then what's happening, the second thing, I'll hit 10 minutes, move a little bit. And then at the end, I will the last time. So a lot of times I will be doing things in the background. And that's one of the truths.
Now, have you roasted your nuts in this yet?
I'm not roasting nuts in that yet.
Okay. You got to let me know when you do, because I want to be there to see that. Right. So really, this is when you're done being artistic and it's more efficiency. Would you say that's correct? Or is there still is there still a little art / hobby / I don't know. What would you say?
Well,
because you've done both,
as
right?
you've heard in previous episodes, also at the popper, which is the 10 minutes at a time thing. So on the smaller batch, I'd say there's still arts in this, but this is just kind of the next.
Okay.
And if you're doing something like producing a bunch of coffee for a fundraiser or that kind of thing, doing it ahead of time, absolutely. Roasted or
right, right, and that was the necessity of why I called you, right? Because I've been an artist, right?
Yes.
And small batch, yes, exactly, small batch, right? And my wife all of a sudden wants me to do, I don't know,
you ordered
20 pounds, right? I also ordered 20 pounds of coffee. Okay, we're going to have to do this different. But I called you, and it was out of the need for efficiency. I wanted a good cup of coffee, but I wanted to do it quicker, and I just couldn't spend a few days in the garage doing this, right? So it was really cool for me, okay? And so for me, you gave me that, okay, Ehren, 10 minutes doing this, 10 minutes at this temperature, and 24 minutes or whatever doing this other one. So I gave it a shot. I poured in a cup, put it in there, put the lid on, set it.
You poured in a cup?
I'm sorry. I poured in a pound. Thank you. So I poured in a pound, put the lid on, turn it on at the 120 or 140, right? And then I walked away. All right. I had to go in the garage, walked away. I was talking to my wife. I was watching some TV with my daughter. My alarm went off. Oh, it's been 10 minutes. Then I walked back in, turned it up to 180, set my timer for another 10 minutes. It was liberating in some ways because I wasn't captive to the process.
Right.
Okay.
And for today, one that I roasted from the box of chocolates thing.
Yes.
I did 10 minutes to 140. I did 10 minutes to 180. So I did 20 minutes at the full. And then at that point, I started watching. The first 40 minutes, I didn't have to watch it. And I watched the last 6.
Right. And like I said, it was liberating. I was free. Yeah. And then at the end of that 24 minutes or 26 minutes, so I took it off and I looked, the beans were exactly the way I'd want them. So that was really great. Here's the one thing.
Let me say one thing, but I want to say something that I think, and again, why did I do the 120, 140, 10 minutes, 180, 10 minutes? The highest for the rest was because that became really badly translated 2x2-inch book that came with the thing.
Right.
Could I roast coffee by just throwing it all the way up to that and just probably be less time, and still be more time roasting? I did get a book, Christmas, called Coffee Roasting Isn't Rocket Science. Some interesting things in there. One of the things I learned is that basically the longer the coffee roasts, the more interesting the flavor profiles that come.
Really?
Yes. And I'll put a link to this book in the show notes. One of the things I learned is like, this is one of the problems with like the Folgers of the world. They literally flash it at like 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 seconds. And then and then dump it into water to cool it down. And that's part of where all the flavor goes and that kind of thing.
Well, because all they're thinking is efficiency. Exactly. All they're thinking.
So I think this benefits a little bit from 40 minutes of roasting as opposed to your 5 minutes.
Interesting.
And one day we'll have to do testing. One day I'd love to take some beans. I'd like to take the same batch of beans.
Right.
Do the hotter popper, and then do this.
Let's do it. Yeah. Maybe next time. Because I felt that the complexity of flavor was very similar.
Yes.
And so that was interesting. But again, mine was small batch, or I was going to say it served its purpose. I pounded out about 20 pounds of coffee over the course of maybe 2 days, but not like straight. I spent one day doing it for a while, the other day doing it it was awesome. It was just fantastic. And so I nailed out those pounds. We got it done. We got it bagged. It was lots of fun. We broke even. So we didn't like raise any funds, but it was a great experience.
And you got a lot of coffee.
Yeah, we still got some coffee left over. What I was going to say though is this. It's in determining the right timing, because you said like 10, 10, 24, that was the direction. Right. So I said 10, 10, 24, pizza cake. That was for the Christmas blend, right? So I said, hey, I got some more of this Ethiopian decaf. Because again, this is one of the big reasons I'm doing this is for just amazing decaf coffee that I can drink at night. So I have this decaf I just love from Ethiopia that I got from Maria's. And I poured in a pound of that sucker, 10 minutes, set it for 24, went and watched Mystery Science Theater 3000, came back, and it was toast. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, it is very difficult to ruin your beans. As a matter of fact, I've never, in all my ineptitude, have not destroyed any of my beans. Now, I took an amazing bean and I made it into typical mediocre French press. Is it drinkable? Yes. Not what I was hoping for, but I basically burned the beans. I roasted it to the French roast level, which is not what I wanted. I just assumed it worked the same timing for each bean, but each bean is different. But at the same time, I couldn't hear the cracks as well, right?
Yes. The noise, the rotator arm somehow is louder than a hotter popper. I'm quite sure how that happens.
Right.
Yeah, it is loud.
So, and then there's also a glass dome over it, right? So when I could hear that first crack and second crack on the popper, I couldn't quite catch that on this. So you gotta, I guess maybe hopefully you can hear it, but at the same time, color is going to be maybe a little bit more of an indicator for you. You gotta play around with it, find out what timing you want in those beans, because you're not going to ruin it, but what do you really want? You're spending time on this. What's the flavor you want? You want it at City Plus? That's what I like. What do you want? You got to figure out that time you might need to play with a little bit. And then once you got it, you just plug and chug, right? But for those of us who like to hear the crack and do their gut, you're not going to get that. But the upside is, hey, you're not captive. You're roasting.
My wife's away. I had to clean things up. And so upon cleaning things up, I ran this in the background.
Okay.
And so that pound of coffee you saw me blowing away the shaft from was all from the fact that I could clean up the kitchen while running this in the background. Well, that's the logistics of what we have. Instead of sitting in front of it, holding it in the backyard, like it's in the house picture, it's just a little bit more robust, a little bit more good. And now I have a pound of chocolate coffee.
Right. That's the other thing that I forgot about is the chaff. See, with the air popcorn popper, it blows the chaff out. Now it makes a mess. You got to get it. But this one, it doesn't. So you're not making as much of a mess around. However, you got a pound of beans full of chaff, right? When you're done. So you have to go out and flip it in the colander, blow on it, and there's chaff going everywhere. It's a little bit more of a process. But you know what? I've read that, if you have chaff in your coffee, what do you, it's I have not sensed a problem with having
plenty of chaff and grinding.
Right. I don't think it impacts the coffee negatively at all. I don't know if it impacts it positively. So if you have some chaff left over in the beans, I don't think you have to worry about it. Try to get as much as you can out. But if you have a little bit in, I think you're okay. What was the name of this device again, Paul? just for the audience members at home.
Yeah. For those of you who want to track it at home, it is the household coffee roasters machine, electric coffee beans roaster for cafe, shop, home use, 500G/1.1 LB, upgrade 110B-120.
Yeah, so look it up by that, or type in,
or head over to the podcast.
Or you can go to Amazon and type in coffee roaster,
right,
and it'll come up.
Yeah,
and there's a few, and they look identical. They might even be identical. Right. I don't know, but check them out. It's white. It looks like a crock pot. And
is it the best home coffee roasting machine? The best one I got right now. It's certainly the need. In future episodes, we'll explore this. To get something that does more of the pound, we're looking at moving from 3 figures to 4 figures.
Well, right. And so I don't know if there's people out there who are way more experienced than we are,
right,
which is, I'm sure that exists out there, who have a machine that either is better than something like this or can do more. We'd love to hear about it too.
Yep.
So that would
roastedhomeshow@gmail.com.
That's right.
So Ehren, you learned, you played with the bigger one, explored, is this the best home coffee roasting machine? It's the best one for me right now.
Well, I'm kind of becoming a convert. I'm going to buy one.
And you did text me a couple days ago.
Yeah. What was that one? And you told me that name.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to get it, and I'm going to use it, and we'll see if efficiency trumps art. I think I'm sold. So I'm going to go for it. We'll see how much I'm an artist versus just want to get the job done.
There we go. We'll sign up for that. Thank you, Ehren. Chat soon.
All right.